Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of my series, Lessons from the World Champion, where I break down Diego Elias's historic World Championship win and go through how he overcame every challenge thrown at him, as well as what we can learn from it. In part 1, we looked at the importance of him getting through to the semi-final in dominant fashion, so that his confidence was high and his legs were fresh. The reason this was so crucial was because he would be facing Ali Farag at this point. The world number 1 and 4-time world champion had a 19-match winning streak against Diego that goes all the way back to 2017, so Diego would need to be in perfect condition to stand any chance of winning this match. Now let's see what unfolded in this semi-final. In the first game, Diego's target hitting proved too much for Ali, as he was able to find ways around his volley with great angle and pace variations. But Ali's no stranger to being one knock down to Diego, as it had happened in 7 of the last 10 meetings they'd had. The question was, could Diego keep up the pressure without faltering mentally? The second game is usually where Ali reels him back in by extending the rallies and stretching him around the court. However, 5-all in the second, Diego surged forwards to take it 11-8. A 2-love lead over Ali is foreign territory for Diego. In fact, it had only ever happened once before, and that was when he last beat Ali. At this point, I felt like he might have just overcome the barrier that had been holding him back. But that's when Ali showed why he's the best in the world. A quick start in the third game for Ali threw a spanner in the works, and appeared to put doubt in the mind of Diego. Diego did a good job of getting a few points towards the end of the game to get some momentum for the fourth. However, Diego needed this game, as if it went to a fifth, Ali has proven too many times that he'll win. After a neck-and-neck start to 4-all, Diego did the unthinkable. He mentally beat Ali. For the first time in 19 matches, he actually battled through the mental barrier and surged through to silence the Egyptian crowd and prove the doubters wrong. The final score was 3-1, 11-5, 11-8, 7-11, 11-7 in 85 minutes. I believe that this was the true final of this tournament, as I was confident that the winner would end up becoming the overall champion. But how exactly was Diego able to win on Ali's home soil, with the crowd against him and the head-to-head record looking so dire? Sorry for interrupting the video, but I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, as it really helps me produce more content like this. Now obviously the mental side was a huge factor, as I believe going 2-love up gave him the belief that he could do it, and unlocked the ability for him not to give up when it started getting tough. It's a good lesson that our minds can prevent us from achieving what we never thought possible. A good example of this is when certain barriers are broken in sports, such as the 4-minute mile in running. It doesn't take long before a lot of people are able to do it. This is because they all now believe that it's possible. To me, it looked like something like this happened in Diego's head when he started to go ahead in the second game. The simple fact of him getting a 2-love lead for the first time since he'd last got the win in 2017 was enough to propel him forwards for the victory. It has never been a question of Diego's technical, tactical or physical ability, as he's proven he can take games off Ali pretty much every time they play. However, there were some tactical adaptations that allowed him to take the first 2 games this time specifically, and therefore lead to him breaking the mental barrier. In the early rounds, Diego's heavy hitting and topspin drives demolished his opponents and meant they were stuck behind him from start to finish. In this match against Ali, the same type of hitting was taking away Ali's volley options, as Diego's lengths were always getting through the court to the back wall. This made it much more difficult for Ali to weave his web and get Diego making heavy movements to all 4 corners with volley boasts and drops from the mid-court. It also forced some errors from Ali as he tried to go for those same working shots from slightly further back in the court than he's used to. On top of this, Diego's use of height and exaggerated width also took away Ali's volley option and exposed his keenness to move up the court aggressively and anticipate. The extra variation also made Diego's attacking shots more effective and forced Ali to question his own position on the court. The reason that this is such an important strategy to use against him is that typically Ali takes the volleys earlier than anyone else in the world and is able to use them to drag his opponents around the court. This means by taking that away from him, it takes away most of Ali's attacking game and forces him to defend from the back, which means there's no threat on Diego. On the flip side, Diego also really stepped up in this match and made sure he was stepping forwards onto the volley, being aggressive and direct with his lines. The kills and volleys on the forehand side somewhat reminded me of the way David Palmer would be so strong and balanced when hitting out in front, which meant he would get the ball running away from the opponent without it clipping the sidewall. Another slight adaptation that Diego had was having a slight bit more urgency with his movement when attacking specifically. Whenever there was a slightly loose ball at the front, he was pouncing on it and getting on it earlier than I'm used to seeing from him. It was also particularly obvious on the forehand around the mid-court area, where he was able to bully Ali by bursting onto the ball and hitting aggressive kills. He's always been incredibly relaxed when defending, which allows him to absorb pressure in a similar way to how Ali does. However, sometimes this can leak into his attacking game and can mean he's not applying the maximum amount of pressure possible in some scenarios. In this tournament though, he managed to get the blend between attack and defence just right, and it allowed him to assert his dominance over the rest of the field. Unfortunately, as I said before, I believe that this match was the true final of the tournament, and that nobody else would be able to get close to Diego in this form. Despite having a 9-3 losing record against his next opponent, Diego would go on to beat a tired-looking Mustafa Asal in the final by mopping up Asal's lacklustre short game and preying on his lack of discipline in this match specifically. It felt as if Diego knew that if he could beat Ali, he could beat anybody. There really isn't too much to break down from this match, as it was mainly just clean-up duty for Diego, as he punished Asal for going short too early in most rallies. To be fair to Mustafa, he did beat Paul Cole in a brutal 3-2 match late the night before, so it wasn't ideal preparation for a final, but I don't believe the end result would have changed either way. Thanks for watching the video guys, I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something new today. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you next time.